Here's your wrestling news for May 10th, 2023, and we're kicking off today with WWE NXT, as this week's show saw the Gold brand continue to build for Battleground, and one young star was left worse for wear on the show. During NXT, Tank Ledger and Hank Walker teamed together to face Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs, and during the match, Ledger had a tooth knocked loose. Despite the issue, Ledger took his loose tooth in stride as he spat out the now useless tooth and placed it in his singlet, much to the shock of every fan in attendance. The commentators couldn't help but bring attention to the injury, but despite losing his tooth, Ledger finished the match, which saw Jensen and Briggs get the win. It was quite the display of toughness that Ledger was willing to continue the match, but now he has to get his mouth fixed, and we hope that his dentist is more Britt Baker and less Isaac Yankem. If you've been watching NXT over the past few months, you'll know that the ring is hardly the most dangerous place to be, but that accolade goes to the parking lot outside the Performance Center. Multiple superstars have been assaulted in the parking lot, including Nikita Lyons, Wendy Chu, and the most recent, Sol Ruca, with the latter being attacked during NXT's Spring Break-In special. During this week's NXT, fans finally got an update on the reasons behind all these attacks, as in a vignette, a hooded figure was seen watching footage of the three attacks. On social media, fans quickly saw connections between this angle and the SmackDown hacker, as those videos also saw a hooded figure also watching screens, which was revealed to be Mustafa Ali. The SmackDown hacker character was later turned into a part of Retribution, the doomed faction led by Ali, and we can only hope that this NXT angle goes better than that. Odds are WWE won't be revealing who's behind these attacks just yet, but plans are now in motion. And who do you think is behind the attacks in the NXT parking lot? When you're a notable name in the world of entertainment, you unfortunately become a bigger target for hackers, and we've seen plenty of superstars be hacked over the years. In March, Seth Rollins' Twitter was hacked, and the scammers promoted NFTs from My Buddy, The Undertaker, and now Matt Riddle's fallen victim to a serious invasion of privacy. In a video shared online, Riddle can be seen spinning his genitals like a helicopter, which led to Matt's name trending during Raw, but not for the reasons WWE would have wanted. When a fan shared the video to Riddle on Instagram, the original bro was shocked to learn that the video had been leaked, and now we know more as to what exactly happened. According to sources, Riddle sent the video to a person on Snapchat, who then decided to save the video, as there are ways to record Snapchat videos and save photos without alerting the sender. Riddle no doubt thought that the video went away in 24 hours, as Snapchat videos are meant to do, and the original bro could be looking into the laws against actions such as this. Riddle didn't appear on Raw this week, but it's unlikely that this invasion of privacy was the reason, as he later appeared on Raw Talk and gave his opinion on the 3-hour show. Hopefully whoever is behind this is held responsible, as Riddle is the victim here, and we will keep following this unfortunate story for further updates. Since 2020, Roman Reigns is dominated as the Tribal Chief, and even those fans who were most critical of his babyface run have had no choice but to acknowledge him. Reigns' heel turn is arguably the best thing that has ever happened to him, especially as WWE never pulled the trigger on a John Cena heel turn, but Roman's turn could have come much sooner. Speaking on the Oh You Didn't Know podcast, Road Dogg Jesse James recalled the hostile response Reigns received during the Backlash 2018 main event against Samoa Joe. The crowd made various unsavory chants, and some even left rather than watch the main event, and this led many in WWE to consider making a change. James explained, "Probably everybody in WWE agreed to turn him heel. Everybody but Vince, because Vince's timing is more on point than everybody else's. The minute you start feeling like, oh, he's a heel, it's like, no, wait a second, wait, it'll heat up worse." While WWE did eventually turn Reigns heel, it would come 2 years after everyone but McMahon agreed he needed to be a villain, but things turned out for the best for our dominant head of the table. This May, a new World Heavyweight Champion will be crowned in Jeddah, but the title has had a somewhat mixed response from fans. Many see the new title as nothing but a consolation prize for wrestlers who can't beat Roman Reigns, and WWE hasn't exactly tried to avoid this comparison. Triple H directly said upon revealing the title that this is because of Roman Reigns and his sporadic schedule, but not everyone is so eager to dismiss the new championship. Speaking on his Hall of Fame podcast, six-time world champion Booker T spoke about the new prize and said that this title is still something wrestlers hope to win throughout their careers. He said, "I don't look at it that way, as a consolation prize. I just can't, find myself looking at the title being a secondary title or anything like that. People saying that this is a secondary championship, they've never been in that position where they were bestowed upon them the title of champion, world champion. That right there, for a young kid in this business, is something that he dreams of forever." On this week's Raw, Seth Rollins punched his ticket to Night of Champions, where he will face one of 6 SmackDown superstars. And what do you make to WWE's new World Heavyweight Championship? We know for a fact that a new champion will be crowned this month, and the title will be exclusive to Raw, so why exactly are 6 SmackDown superstars being allowed in the tournament? Given that WWE made such a big deal about the draft, many have found it odd for a dual-branded tournament, but there's a special reason why this is happening. During Wrestling Observer Radio, it was explained that this week is a particularly difficult one for wrestling, as shows will be going up against the NBA playoffs. WWE's attempts to have a show that fans want to tune in for is why this week's SmackDown will have 2 tournament matches, as well as at least 1 match from Edge on the show. SmackDown will also see Cameron Grimes make his main roster in-ring debut, as well as a WWE Women's Tag Team Titles match, so there's a lot that fans will want to check out. The desire to stop fans from watching the playoffs isn't just in WWE, as it was said that this week's Stacked Dynamite is AEW's answer to the NBA problem. If the playoffs weren't this week, the tournament would look much different, and out of Sheamus, AJ Styles, Edge, Rey Mysterio, Austin Theory, and Bobby Lashley, who do you want to see advance to the finals? Over to AEW now, as CM Punk's return to programming is just over a month away, if the reports are to be believed, and his return is something that fans thought they'd never see. Punk will reportedly be kept away from top names such as the Elite as part of the conditions of his return, but a match between the two sides should have happened long ago. That's at least according to Konnan, as on his Keepin' It 100 podcast, the wrestling legend shared his view that AEW botched Punk's first run with the company, given the caliber of his opponents. "When he first came back, I was certain Chicago would melt and he'd pop a rating, which he did. Then the problem was, and this was not Tony's decision, he wanted to wrestle with these young talents. The problem is these talents weren't over and to this day are still not over. In my mind, Tony Khan, don't do what Punk wants, you do what the fans want. That was a mistake. They mishandled him coming back." During his first run with AEW, Punk faced the likes of Daniel Garcia, Matt Sydal, QT Marshall, and Bobby Fish, but never faced stars such as Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, or the Young Bucks. Whether these matches happen when Punk is back, it's difficult to say, but what do you think? Should Tony Khan have put his foot down and had Punk wrestle the bigger names of the company? Or was Punk right to face younger, less established stars? Sound off in the comments. For years, pro wrestling, at least in the West, has been considered a man's world, and it's only over the past decade or so that more attention has been given to the promotion of women's wrestling. Now some female wrestlers are considered on par with their male counterparts in terms of popularity, but there's still work to be done behind the scenes. On an episode of 10 Count, Impact Knockouts Tag Team Champion Taylor Wilde said that the reason why women's wrestling, especially women's tag wrestling, has often been overlooked is because of the lack of female voices in creative. While there are some female writers across multiple promotions, the creative side of wrestling is almost entirely male-dominated, which Wilde believes has been a detriment to women's wrestling as a whole. The treatment of women's wrestling has come a long way over the past decade or so, with women rolling around in pudding, gravy, and other fluids becoming a thing of the past, but there's still work to be done backstage. And we're ending today with Kevin Owens, who has been using the same theme song in WWE since he joined NXT in 2014, but that could be changing soon. For years, Downstate have been producing wrestling themes, with the band being responsible for Kingdom, the theme for Cody Rhodes, but now they want to have a crack at the prize fighter. Speaking to Cultaholic, Downstate's lead vocalist Zach Call recalled providing an unofficial remix of Seth Rollins' previous theme that had lyrics, which went down extremely well with fans. Call added that given that fans only narrowly voted for Rollins' theme to receive lyrics over Owens, that lyrics for KO's theme are likely coming, but there's no word on when the track will be released. It's also unclear as to whether WWE would secure the rights to use the new Owens theme song with lyrics, but the Canadians' entrance could be sounding much different later this year.